I'm Sandesh Bartlett.
And I'm Ashwini Vethakan. We begin with a look at the COVID-19 situation in the island. As of this week, the number of COVID-19 infected stands at 6,287, with the number of recoveries reaching 3,561. Earlier this week, 2 COVID-19 patients were detected while receiving treatment at a children's hospital in Colombo and were identified as residents of Lmd.
Meanwhile, on Wednesday, 49 cases were detected from the Paleobuta fish market. According to the Department of Government Information, a total of 186 COVID-19 cases were reported on Tuesday. 180 of these cases were from the Minuwangodu cluster, while the remaining 6 cases were returnees from overseas.
And now for a roundup of local news. The handing over of appointment letters to trainees selected from families of the lowest income category under a program to recruit 100,000 individuals for employment commenced on Monday. 34,818 individuals were selected under the first phase. Appointees will receive a 6-month formal training on 25 identified areas in line with their skills and preferences. The National Apprentice and Industry Training Authority will oversee the training program.
The Sri Lankan Ministry of Foreign Affairs has announced the visit of US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who will visit the country on the 28th of October to hold bilateral talks. Meanwhile, the Cabinet has approved to ban several one-time use plastics and polythene products with effect from 1st January next year. While addressing the media at the weekly Cabinet meeting, the Cabinet Corps spokesman went on to say that alternative products to plastic will be introduced.
In other news, the Fort Police Station reopened on Wednesday following a thorough disinfection process after an officer attached to the station tested positive for COVID-19.
Moving on to business news, the Colombo Chamber of Commerce has appealed to the Trade Minister, seeking intervention to request local banks to purchase export documents based on DP terms without collateral from the exporter, provided the importer consignee is not blacklisted or defaulted. The Chamber added in its statement that this will accelerate and enhance Sri Lanka's exports and particularly support MSMEs and SMEs to focus on exports.
Meanwhile, the Maldivian Minister of Foreign Affairs revealed that Sri Lanka guaranteed there would be no restrictions on Maldivian fish imports. The Foreign Minister made the announcement following discussions with Sri Lanka's Foreign Affairs, Fisheries and State Minister of Finance. In August, the President of Sri Lanka announced the intentions to halt the import of fish products as part of measures to protect the country's domestic industries from foreign competition.
The Hambantota Chamber of Commerce will collaborate with the Colombo University China Language Center and the Hambantota International Port to provide Chinese language lessons to Hambantota district residents. The Chamber believes that locals learning Chinese would ensure ease of doing business, considering the number of China-based projects in the district.
And in other news, Fitch Ratings has raised concerns in finance companies' ability to withstand losses amid protracted stresses triggered by the pandemic. The rating agency said it expects the sector's asset quality pains, aggravated by the pandemic, to manifest more acutely from the October-December quarter and extend through financial year 2022. This will be compounded as regulatory relief afforded in the form of moratoriums temporarily halted the recognition of credit impairments for much of this year. The gross non-performing loans ratio, a key measure of the sector's asset quality, slumped to 14.1% by end June from 11.4% in March.
Now for a roundup of global news. The total number of COVID-19 cases surpassed 41 million, with the recovered number of cases jumping the 31 million mark. A United Nations report said on Wednesday claims that the value of global trade is set to fall by 7% to 9% in 2020 from the previous year, despite signs of a fragile rebound led by China in the third quarter. The report also went on to note that global trade recovered somewhat in the third quarter, when it was estimated at about 4.5% less than in the same period a year ago.
In aviation, Cathay Pacific has announced it's closing its subsidiary Cathay Dragon and cutting 8,500 jobs. And finally, in the world of tech, the Trump administration on Tuesday sued Google in what is the largest antitrust case against the tech company in more than 2 decades. In its complaint, the Justice Department makes sweeping allegations that Google has stifled competition to maintain its powerful position in the marketplace for online search and search advertising. That's all the news we have for you this week.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Thank you for watching.
And stay safe.